Hey everyone, we're here interviewing Nod Lammers of Invoked 101. He went X-1 at the Dark Neostorm sneak peek, and we got a pretty mat. He was playing Super Quants, so anything you want to say about the deck or the tournament?
This deck's a lot better than I thought it was. Can play through 5 negates if you're smart enough about it. I've been playing this deck online a lot, and I also did the older, like the only Super Quant deck for like a year, and then I also did the Quantum Link deck. That was really fun. I love Super Quants. They're basically just like the best parts of Zodiac, ABC, and oh, what's the other deck? I forget, but there's another one that it's like kind of like, and it's just like the best parts of all of those, so you should play it. It's awesome.
Were your matchups pretty difficult, or do you think they were easy?
In theory, they should have been more difficult than they were, because I lost to Dinosaurs because I got hit with Summon Limit, and that really sucked. I beat True Draco because of Alphen Spike, and I Boral loaded his Boral load. And then
don't even think about it.
I beat Salamangrates because he couldn't do because of Alphen Spike, and he couldn't use the card he added back with the Wolf. And then I beat what was the last deck? I forgot what the other deck was. We just got done with Dark Neostorm, and I forgot what the other deck was. I'll remember it at some point.
Alright, so let's get right into the deck profile.
Alright, right into the deck. I'm going to move the extra deck and these guys off to the side. But we're going to talk about the monsters. 3 of the new guy. This guy's like awesome. So he special summons himself by sending a Super Quant from your hand or field to the grave that's not white layer. And then when he's normal or special summon, you can send a Super Quant from the deck to the graveyard. And then he copies its attribute and level, which is pretty dope. And then when he's sent from field to grave, when he's just sent to the graveyard, you get to search the Alphen, the level 1 Super Quant guy. So this guy's pretty awesome and is a great playmaker. Also, his Zord is really good. Real quick, before I go on with the other Super Quants, all the Super Quants have a sent, if this card sent a grave effect and a on summon effect. So and all of them are hard once per turn. So next up is 3 red layer. Red layer is like the best one, honestly. So he has a couple of effects. The first one is that he's a Cyber Dragon and can special summon himself. And then his summon effect is that he can pick up a Super Quant from the graveyard and add it to your hand. And then his send to grave effect is that he can target a Super Quant that's not red layer and special summon it, but it's effects are negated. This guy is awesome and legitimately one of the best Super Quants in the deck. Next up we have the old 2 of, but now he's a 3 of. This is a Super Quant green layer. So green layer has the effect of, if he's normal or special summoned, to special summon another Super Quant from your hand, which is pretty useful now because this is a link deck before it knew it was a link deck. And then it has another effect of when he's sent to grave, you can discard a Super Quant card and draw 1 card. And while you don't always have a Super Quant card in hand, sorry, not grave, you can get the effect off pretty much all the time. Also, funny joke, I was at the sneak peek, I would use his effect like every time he went to grave, and each time, without fail, I top decked E-Telly. So, funny joke. Speaking of E-Telly, we have triple blue layer. Blue layer is the Stratos of the deck. When this card is normal or special summoned, you get to search a Super Quant card, any Super Quant card, which is awesome. And then when she's sent to graveyard, you can target 3 Super Quants and shuffle them back into the deck. So she's pretty good. Also allows you to recycle because you are sending these guys to the graveyard a lot. And so she's just like really nice to have and keep the stuff going. The last in-theme monster I play is 3 Alphen. Alphen is one of the best starter cards in the deck. So its effect is that you contribute it to reveal 3 different Super Quant names from your deck, including Alphen, and your opponent randomly picks one for you to special summon, and then you send the other to the grave. So it does trigger the graveyard effects. Then it has another effect to target a Super Quant on grave and on field and copy its level. Sorry. So this is another one, 1-for-1 target, just really good. That's it for the Super Quant monsters. Other stuff, hand traps, 2 Phantasme, 2 Ogre. Didn't really use these during the sneak peek. The one time I saw this, I specialed it off Saryuja, and then I used this a couple times, which was nice. So, but that's it for the monsters. triple field spell and double terraforming without say. I'm just going to move the terraforming stuff here. But triple field spell, this is really good because what this lets you do is discard, target a super quant, and turn it into its Zord, which is really good. Then it has the other effect to send itself to the graveyard and take 3 super quantal mech beast monsters from the field or graveyard, overlay them on top of each other, and if they were on the field with materials, they keep their materials and summon Magnus, which is pretty dope. So that's really good. Search field spell, easy. 3 super quantal Alphen Call appeal. This was really just called Alphen Call, so that's why I've been calling it. What this card does is if a super quant monster is destroyed by battle, you can special summon 1 mech beast. You can like one of the Zords, and then summon another monster that's listed on the Zord from the deck. So you can't summon Magnus with this, but you can summon like the.
Oh, honey, you had a nightmare.
It got really loud. But you can summon like the dinosaur with it, or the dolphins or the lion, and it's pretty dope. 1 Alphen Spike. This card is pretty insane, but it's also kind of like a double-edged sword. So if you control 3 different super quants, you can shuffle all your opponent's stuff that they control back into their deck, and then they get to pick 1 extra deck monster to special summon, ignoring conditions, which is the bad part about it. But it also has the effect to banish itself and a Alphon from your graveyard to activate the field spell straight from deck, which is pretty dope. And then we have 1 Foolish Burial Goods to send the spike to grave, because that's usually where you want it. 1/1 for 1 for the Alphen. E-Telly for the blue layer, and Monster Reborn because this deck loves extra summons. For traps, I'm playing one of the new one. This is Super Quantal Union Magna Formation. This says that your opponent cannot target Super Quant cards on the field with card effects during your main phase 1. And then during either player's turn, you can equip Super Quant cards under the Xyz monsters as material, which is pretty nice. 1 Magnus Layer. This buffs attack and also lets your Super Quant monster attack multiple times. 2 Impermanents. This is just negates. And then more negates, big negate, littler negate. But it's all pretty good. That's it for the main. Going into the extra, we have 1 Magnus. Magnus is awesome. He's basically Rongo. So if you don't know what Magnus does, his effect is that like if he has 2 materials, he's like unaffected by card effects. If he has 4 or more materials, you get to like pluck a card out of your opponent's hand. And then if he has 6 or more materials, your opponent can't search, which is pretty awesome. This guy becomes really good as the more materials you get. He's also 36, so he's really big. Next we have 2 Luster Rex. This is the new one. This guy is awesome. So all the Super Quant Xyz monsters are like similar in a way, and that's so they all become quick effects if they have their appropriate pilot.
Would have worked out better.
And then so this one's quick effect or effect is that you can target a monster on the field and negate its effects for the turn. And then also all the Xyz monsters have the effect to equip a Super Quant from the field, I think it is. Field or hand, yeah, as a material, which is pretty dope. They also can't attack if they don't have material. 2 Lion, you detach 1 from this guy and pop a card. 2 of the bird, his effect is that he's a Book of Moon. He like flips something face down. And then 2 of the Dolphins, which its effect is that it pops back row. You detach 1 and pop a spell or trap. That's it for the Xyz monsters. For links, we're playing 2 Super Quantal Mech King Blaster Magna. This is the new Link monster. He is awesome. He requires 2 plus effect monsters, including a Super Quant. And then his effect is that he cannot be destroyed when he's Link or if he is Link summoned. He cannot be destroyed by card effects. And then each time you Xyz summon under him with a different attribute, you draw a card. And then if a Super Quant monster, if a Xyz monster that he points to is destroyed, you summon a Super Quant from your deck whose attribute is the same as that destroyed Xyz monster. So he's really good. And then 1 Cerberus, this is just because we already have an MST, this is just hits monsters and is a little easier to go into than a rank 5. 1 Land Phalanx, this really should have been Beat Cop, but I was being silly and forgot that Beat Cop was out. 1 Saryuja, I made this once, and 1 Borla because this out stuff, and I made this once as well. I'm not going to go into the side deck because, or I guess I could, it'll only take a second. 2 Pinkertops for the pop, 2 Scythe, and 3 Sanctum for the negates, or the stopping your turn. Evenly matched for the board wipe. Mirror Forces, because they're funny, and Lost Winds for the negate. But that's it for Super Quants. That's the whole deck. I love this deck. It's awesome.
Anything else?
If you haven't tried out Super Quants, but you're also looking for a deck that's like pretty decent, at least at a casual level, this is a really good deck, especially to learn a bunch of like graveyard mechanics and chain links and stuff like that. I really like this deck, and I think that it is pretty good. It just needs someone who knows how to play it, you know what I'm saying?
Any final words?
Play Super Quants and subscribe.
Alright, bye.